What's up? The name is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like the video, make sure you share the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell up above for future uploads. Thank you. So here today we have packaging shots for McFarlane Toys The Witcher figures. Now McFarlane has dipped his toes into the water of action figures over the last number of years, particularly articulated action figures. Generally, McFarlane doesn't like to make articulated figures, and for someone who has been looking at the DC multiverse and some of the other lines that McFarlane has been doing, it is a little bit frustrating when you see certain characters that could be really well articulated and they're going to be made into an action figure, and then it's kind of like a half-hearted effort between making them a statue and making them a figure. I would love to see as much articulation on these figures as possible, considering the fact when you think that Geralt of Rivia has to be quite mobile in terms of the fact that he's going to be fighting monsters essentially. So I would like to see McFarlane's articulation improve, and one thing I do have to credit them with is that their detail on these figures and in figures in general is quite good and it's quite high. Some of the decision making things will make you scratch your head and will keep the mind boggled, but then again, that is the madness of McFarlane. So here we have an image of The Witcher Wild Hunt, and I really like the look of this figure. Geralt looks fantastic. Now there is another version of this figure coming in the gold label collection from McFarlane, which seems to be a Walmart or Walgreens exclusive line. Very strange to make exclusives of these figures straight off the bat, but then again, he is a guy that does like to do exclusives, and again, like I said, makes you scratch your head. So here we have the 7-inch line, and McFarlane has said to us in the past that companies are dictating to him that they want 7-inch figures. They do not want 6-inch figures. In my opinion, this is a straight out lie, because we see the success of the likes of the G.I. Joe Classified series from Hasbro. We also see the Star Wars Black series from Hasbro, and we also see the Marvel Legends from Hasbro that are wildly successful. So I think that may be a bit of gamesmanship on his sort of way of thinking rather than anything else. So here we have Geralt, and he comes with a head there of a monster. Looks really cool. The detail, as I said, looks really nice. I like to look at the packaging. This open window does look very nice, I will say. Generally, the packaging from McFarlane figures does look really good. It looks kind of premium, and it does feel quite sturdy as well. That's just my opinion. So here we have two large swords that come with Geralt, and we have what seems to be a staple in the McFarlane lines now, which is a stand. I think the figure stands are a good idea. I think they look cool. I think ultimately as well, they do provide some stability for these figures when you do get some figures that could be top heavy and others then that could be a little bit back heavy, and it's nice to see that. So here we have the alternate head then of this monster, and I think that looks pretty cool as well too. It is going to be interesting to see how far he's going to get with this line. He does like to do multiple accessories, so you could get multiple figures of Geralt with different looks with different accessories. The next character here we have Eridan Brayak Glass. Apologies if I am butchering that name, but this looks absolutely outstanding. One thing that McFarlane is really solid on is monstrous type figures, and I think that this is something that he should move into doing more of. We see in the Game of Thrones line that he decided to start off with Arya Stark and Jon Snow and had the Night King. The easiest figure he could have done was the Night King. The Night King looked absolutely phenomenal. I think two things happened there that with the show going as badly as it did towards the end, I think really hurt the line, and it looks like that we won't see any more Game of Thrones figures from McFarlane. Looks like he's cut his losses there. We've also seen other lines that he's decided to dip the toe into, the likes of Harry Potter, for example. It looks like that was one wave and done as well too. He did Harry, Ron, Hermione and Voldemort. Voldemort looked incredible, and that looks like that's over as well too now. So it's kind of seems like trial and error and seeing what will stick. So we have Eridan here, and again, like I said, when he does these kind of monstrous, more dark looking characters, I think he does a phenomenal job. Has a massive sword here that looks really cool. Has this head with this crown effect in it, kind of skull-like, skeletal looking figure with this sort of musculature that's underneath the armor that I think looks really cool. He has a fantastic looking cape as well, draped over his shoulders, and I think that this looks absolutely outstanding. I would see an awful lot of people just purchasing this figure on the fact that it looks quite unique, and I have to say, like I said, the packaging does really help it. I think it makes it stand out, and particularly against that red background. Now the last image that we have here is a packaging shot of the 12-inch figure that McFarlane is doing with the Witcher series. So We're not quite sure of what the articulation is going to be like with the 12-inch line. I do suspect it's going to be more statuesque. It is possible that he could have some hidden articulation. McFarlane does sometimes do rubber underneath the figure, similar to what Star Wars did recently with their Hyper Real series. So it would be interesting to see if McFarlane will go that route with this one. Again, it includes 2 large swords, a very nice portrait of Geralt here. I think that looks really cool. And then it comes down with 3 heads. This looks pretty cool. A 12-inch figure, if it's in a 12-inch line, okay, fair enough. Is it going to include more, or is this a one and done? We'll wait and see. I know McFarlane's interested in doing a 12-inch Spawn that doesn't have very much articulation at all. And for an awful lot of people that are trying to buy into McFarlane figures, you do have to realise that this guy doesn't want to do anything but statues, really, which is a bit disheartening and a bit annoying. But anyway, that's the talk for today for The Witcher. It looks really good. I have to say, you can't say that the articulation has to be absolutely outstanding for some figures, because McFarlane, I do agree with him in sense of if characters are overburdened in armour, it wouldn't make sense for them to have certain articulation, but it's still nice to try and have it and try to have it there, in my opinion. What is very good and what works for McFarlane is the detail. The details on these figures are absolutely phenomenal in my opinion, and I think it's one thing that he should do going forward is work on that articulation, because I do think for the price point, if these are running at around $20, around €20, around £20 for example, I think that this is a very good bang for your buck in terms of there is a good bit of plastic, and that is something that McFarlane does like to focus on, is giving you your bang for your buck and having a cheap figure but with having certain qualities. I will say, like I've been saying with DC Multiverse with this one, focus on articulation, focus on paint apps on the face. Hyper real and sort of face print technology is going to be the future in terms of action figures, and I would really recommend that McFarlane looks into this for all of his lines, because I think that takes it to the next level. It makes the figure look more premium, and for an awful lot of people that aren't too bothered with that articulation, it does bring a sense of realism then to these figures, and it does make it easier then when you're looking through the figures on the pegs to see which one has the best QC, because QC problems are always going to exist, which is unfortunate, but it does make your eye say, well, if there's 20 of these figures, at least maybe 15 of them will be very good, and then at least 3 or 4 of them maybe will be really good, and they're the ones that you want to be picking up. So what do you think of this Witcher line from McFarlane Toys? Is this something that excites you, or is this something that you think could go the way of Game of Thrones and Harry Potter? Given that the Netflix series of The Witcher has become very popular, I think it's a no-brainer for McFarlane to do a Henry Cavill Geralt of Rivia. Now, with the fact that he has DC Multiverse already, I wonder myself if the license for Henry Cavill has already been given that we are going to get the Snyder Cut, and could that be an easy work? If I was McFarlane, I'd certainly be making figures from season 1 and season 2 of The Witcher, because people were interested in that. And if I was clever, if I was Todd McFarlane, I would be saying, right, I would be doing figures of Henry Cavill's Geralt, and I would do a couple of monsters so he can battle them, because that is really important. It's great having the heads of monsters, but we need to have a full figure of a monster, and I think that there is no better person than Todd McFarlane to do that. I think he will give us phenomenal monsters, and it would be really cool to have this Geralt of Rivia squaring off against multiple monsters. I think that would look insane on a shelf. Gonna leave the video there. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this line. Is the 7-inch line something you're going to pick up from The Witcher, or are you going to lean more towards the 12-inch line? What do you think of these two figures that have been shown today, and the third figure of course being the 12-inch figure? So the 2 figures from the 7-inch line and the 12-inch line figure. What do you think about those 3 figures that have been seen? What do you think about the detail? Let me know below. And I'm going to leave the video there. Talk to you later. Good luck.